In the quiet corners of the East, there are stories that were never meant to be told after dark. Stories whispered from village to village. Stories of the dead who refuse to stay dead. Tonight's story comes from an old county in China. It is called The Corpse That Walked. Long ago in a county, there lived an old man from a small village. His village lay several miles away from the county town. The old man and his son ran a small roadside inn, offering shelter to passing merchants and cart drivers. Over time, many travelers came to know the place well and stayed there often. One evening at dusk, 4 cart drivers arrived together, hoping to spend the night. But the inn was already full. They begged the old man to find a way, saying they needed nothing more than a roof to keep out the wind and rain. After some hesitation, the old man agreed, though uneasily. His daughter-in-law had died only days earlier. Her body still lay in the house, awaiting burial. The room that served as her mourning hall was quiet and empty. So the old man led the travelers through narrow streets and alleys and brought them there. Inside the room, a dim oil lamp flickered on a wooden table. Behind it stood the mourning bed draped with curtains. The corpse lay beneath a paper quilt. Beyond the hall was a sleeping room with a long shared bed. Exhausted from their journey, the 4 men lay down. Before long, 3 of them were snoring loudly, but the 4th man hovered between sleep and wakefulness. Suddenly, he heard a soft scratching sound. Scrape, scrape. He opened his eyes. By the dim lamplight, he saw the paper quilt lift. The corpse sat up. Slowly, it stepped down from the mourning bed and walked into the sleeping room. Its face was pale yellow. A strip of white silk was tied around its forehead. The corpse bent over the first sleeping man and blew gently into his face. Then the second, then the third. Terror seized the man who was awake. Afraid it would reach him next, he pulled the quilt over his head and held his breath. Moments later, he felt it standing beside him. The corpse leaned close and blew on him again and again. Only after it left did he dare to peek out. The corpse had returned to the mourning bed and lay stiffly beneath the quilt, just as before. The man trembled. He tried nudging his companions with his foot, but none of them moved. Desperate, he decided to flee. As he began to sit up, the scratching sound returned. Terrified, he lay still once more. Again, the corpse approached him, blowing its cold breath upon him several times before retreating. When silence returned, the man slowly reached for his clothes, dressed, and ran barefoot out the door. Behind him, the corpse sat up again and gave chase. He ran through the village screaming for help, but no one awoke. Afraid to slow down, he ran toward the county road. At the eastern outskirts of town, he saw a temple. He heard the steady knocking of a wooden fish inside. He pounded on the temple gate, begging to be let in. The monks hesitated, and then the corpse arrived. It stood less than a foot behind him. In desperation, the man hid behind a large poplar tree. When the corpse lunged left, he dodged right. When it lunged right, he dodged left. Both grew weaker. Suddenly, the corpse lunged forward with both arms, reaching around the tree. The man collapsed in terror. Unable to grasp him, the corpse clung to the tree trunk and slowly became rigid. When all was quiet, the monks finally emerged. They found the man unconscious but still warm. He was carried inside and revived by morning. At dawn, the monks examined the tree. There, locked in place, stood the corpse. Its fingers were curled like hooks, driven deep into the wood. Even several men struggled to pull it free. The holes left behind looked as if they had been carved by chisels. The magistrate was summoned. When officials investigated the inn, they found chaos, the corpse missing, and the other travelers dead. The survivor was given written proof of his ordeal and sent home with gifts, for no one would have believed his story otherwise. From that day on, the villagers believed one thing: some bodies may die, but their hatred, fear, or unfinished fate can still walk the world at night. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like, subscribe, and listen closely, because in the East, the dead are never truly silent.